Hear ye, hear ye. It's another thrilling episode of the Swole cast on tap. If you paid attention to last week, you know that we're taking things a lot more serious around here. And this is a
some
show.
of us are. Some of us are, Dave.
Yeah, some of us, but we're not going to throw Pete under the bus like that. Anyways, Davis is going to be the referee, the host for today. And I don't know, a lot of people are saying, I'm not sure this is the best job for Davis out there. I don't know if
Can't
he can
be
really
possibly
host.
worse than you did. You gave out a total of 11 points last week.
I don't know if he's going to be as handsome or funny as Kitchen. And honestly, you're right. It's a Swole cast coming up next.
You David Static from the Swole cast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand context.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a ton of research before the show.
I've put no research into this. Don't know if it's true at all.
You're on the right show.
To it, bro. Live a little.
Live a little.
Just live a little, guys.
So, Dave, you have very few jobs for this show. It's sort of a pick up the ball and roll it out situation. Do you want to tell me what the deal is with this thumbnail?
I haven't seen it.
It's a placeholder thumbnail. Davis, after the banger that I released last week, I'm not sure you want to be opening the show complaining about a thumbnail that will probably change as soon as this show is over.
You did. I'll totally give you credit. Last week's thumbnail, was good. It's just
a placeholder thumb. It will be replaced by something that is more relevant. I saw your experiment title for the the show. That will also be changed.
Correct.
I have to go in and edit out. You always put sponsored by a former sponsor that we have on the show.
That's just in the details.
Do you know what also I've been having to do when I go in to change the title is the monetization isn't on.
I know, Davis. I've told him multiple times.
Well, the monetization is on right now.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Davis. Speaking of monetization, if you want to sponsor this show, let's say you're Fairlife out there and you want to sponsor the show.
Let's aim lower. Let's aim you're sort of like a guy who owns like an ATM somewhere, or maybe like a vending machine, and you're just looking to generate some foot traffic. I think that's kind of our level.
This is high quality protein and no artificial growth hormones are used in this. This is incredible. Oh, sorry. That's just kind of the organic product placement that you'll get on this show. If you pay.
Have you moved on from Ghost already?
Sad.
Ghost was, I already told you, Ghost was like a 2-week thing. I had to get through the draft guide.
For David Kitchen.
I had to get through the draft guide, and we were pulling late nights. And speaking of draft guide, that will be releasing July 1st. But yeah, we've got some fun stuff for the show. Davis, you want to explain to people kind of what's happening in case they missed last week?
Very simple concept. We have adapted around the horn style scoring, questions, banter for an hour-long internet live stream featuring some best ball topics, some non-best ball topics, some lifting, some Swolecast style things. We are still thinking through some of the elements. We're going to rotate the person who is hosting. People who are YouTube members of the Swolecast channel can have topics introduced in the Discord and be added to the rundown. Very simple stuff. And you know, today, David, you will get to see what a good host actually looks like. And I'm hoping that this will kind of inspire. Bang. I'm hoping this will kind of inspire your performance.
But it's not just
forward.
Like, Davis, you got to be funny. Like, don't be like cool guy host. You got to be funny too.
Don't be cool guy host.
Yeah, Pete, do you have any
advice you have always followed, Dave?
Yeah.
Advice you have always followed.
I like one of the reasons I enjoy this show is because I don't have to host. I host the majority of shows I'm on, so I like not having that responsibility. So
David and I can rotate. David just did a bad job last time, so I knew I needed to host at least once to
I
show
didn't really do
because
a
I
bad
would assume.
job.
Well, Dave, the issue is I would assume you probably just never watched Around the Horn and you didn't get the bits. So you just need to see what it looks like. And I know you're not going to watch an episode of Around the Horn.
I think you're clinging a little too like we had to tell you last week, not as much football content. Davis, I love you. I love you being a part of the show, but we're also our own thing. This isn't
right. So just do a good job of our thing is really all I'm saying.
Right, but our thing is not going to be a cold pizza Around the Horn like duplicate.
Swole pizza. That was one of the persons.
I like Swole calls. I like some of the things there. Pete, do you have any advice for Davis before we start this?
Yeah, just be funny, dude. Just be cool. Just play it cool and be funny.
Not
man.
as cool. Don't worry about cool. Just be funny. Just be entertaining.
And notice how we're saying don't be yourself because that we don't want.
We sure don't. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone on the show has ever had a problem not being a cool guy.
Okay.
The feedback on last week's show was good. I think people liked the format. In the live chat, as we were kind of unveiling it, there was concern that we were going to lose, the plot, so to speak, which the plot is there is no plot. And I think we won people over, so we're gonna keep it rolling. Yep.
All right. Overzet's overview.
Got that dog in a butt. Got that dog in a butt. Overzet overview. Come
on. All right. What kitchen?
David just had no idea how to get there because he's already tentative. He doesn't know. So I just
you're hosting and what was that all right, overview button.
I appreciate it because the longer the intro goes without the overview, then we trample.
The more we're going to step on his jokes.
Let's get into the good stuff. Donald Trump announced that he bombed Iran on Saturday while simultaneously calling for peace. The post had big, my diet starts tomorrow energy. Just let me get one more bombing and then peace. Davis was trying to go live as the bombings happened, but he couldn't get ChatGPT to Photoshop a turban onto his head for the thumbnail. Just don't like how it's positioned on there. David Kitchen's group chat was, of course, popping off over the weekend. One guy has already ordered a custom Titans jersey with Hegseth on the back. I meant to ask David, do the guys in your group chat spell Netanyahu like the site that is replacing all its writers with AI bots? I don't know how to spell Yahoo. It's Y-A-H-O-O. But then, in a shocking turn last night, Trump announced that there would be a complete and total ceasefire, and he gave Iran a 20-second clock until the ceasefire, while Israel got a 30-second clock.
Sad preferential treatment.
Yeah,
only one of them gets the good lobbies.
Best Ball Bros, who now can't go more than 1 week without whining about a new travesty, had a toddler-esque meltdown for a few hours when Underdog experimented with removing 20-second clocks from the lobby. Underdog now knows how wives of Best Ball Bros feel, trying to get them to last for 30 seconds before giving up and going back to 20 seconds.
Of all the storms on Best Ball, that was the most pathetic. That was the most pathetic Best Ball Twitter has ever been.
They're almost like cyclical now, where everyone kind of looks around and like, oh, we haven't had something to complain about for a week. What's the new thing? The OKC Thunder won the NBA championship but no one cares because Timothy Chalamet wasn't sitting courtside. Davis live tweeted Game 7, though, so we are required to tell him congrats, Davis, on your 19th team you love winning an NBA championship.
Every team I rooted for has now won a championship.
So it's so hard being Davis. Tyrese Halliburton had barely touched the floor before CSU Jennings fired off the torn Achilles tweet. He started the tweet with, "I hate to speculate. Peter, there is nothing on the planet you love more than speculating on Achilles injuries. It's literally your favorite thing. What do you mean
Did
you hate to speculate?"
Did you see that he retweeted the Tyrese Halliburton tweet from this morning?
That was so good. The only other thing I saw from the finals on X was one of the Snapback chat content creators posted a video of himself crying in the stands after the win. And it just made me think moments like this are why we built Snapchat Sports. Back to you, Dave.
It's actually not back to me. It's back to our.
Back to our cool hosts. Davis,
back to our cool host. All right, let me get us all into our appropriate boxes here. Now, is it going to be too much to ask you guys to keep track of your own score in your banner? Am I going to have to also keep track? So I'm going to have to host and keep track of the score. Okay. Quick refresher. Maybe you didn't make it last week. Maybe you grew up sad and you didn't get to watch any of the incredible ESPN daytime programming. Very simple game. A vast array of questions. Some mature topics are going to be included. We're going to keep score. The points are basically arbitrary. I'm hosting. I get to decide. There is no arguing. This is where we're going to begin. Does anyone outside of Nashville care about tight end U? Is this a totally localized phenomenon, or is this, Peter? Is this something that we are missing? And I will let you go first, and then I will give Dave a chance to rebut.
I think there's this slice of like football bro culture that loves and eats this up, because think about the stories. It was always like, who's working out with Larry Fitzgerald this summer? People always love those nuggets. And I think there's the combination of a bunch of grown men going to essentially like a kids camp, but for football. An interesting hook for people to latch onto. And then you get to do the like, who was invited, who's not there? Oh, what does it mean that tight end wasn't there? So I think it's kind of like reality TV show gossipy in a way that even transcends local Nashville culture.
Dave, you need to defend tight end U right now.
I don't really need to defend tight end U. It's just like this.
It needs defending.
Apparently so. I didn't know Davis was so mad at tight end U. Like in a time where we are overanalyzing everything, this is just like so-and-so is at training camp doing this, doing that. You got beat reporters. This is just a time for these guys to get together. It was never meant to be like this huge thing. It's like started organically and it's kind of blown up, right? It wasn't meant to be like some commercialized event. It really was meant to be just a place where tight end bros could come in and hone their craft. So,
all right, negative one for using the word hone your craft. I'm going to give you a chance to earn. I'm going to give you a chance.
All right,
to earn a point back, Dave. I'm going to give you a chance. Don't argue with me. I am the one who purveys the points. I'm going to give you a chance to not only earn your point back, but to steal. If you can tell me the most high-profile tight end who is not invited to tight end U this year.
I think they're all invited.
Not attending.
Kyle Pitts.
Not attending.
Kyle Pitts.
Okay, you know what? There we go. I'm going to give Dave. I'm
right.
The highest profile, so that means like 19 of the other best tight ends in the league.
All right, we have breaking news on this show. It's called the old Swolecast reverse card has been played. Davis, if you will allow me to present my screen.
I will allow you to present your screen.
This is unprecedented.
This is unprecedented.
This is literally unprecedented. baby.
All right. This is Name That's Tight End, one of our favorite games that we like to play.
We made it 1 1/4 into our new show format before Dave hijacked it with his own idea.
Okay, top row to the left, that left rectangle, who is that?
Brock Bowers.
Okay, Point Peter. To the right of him, who is that?
Mason Taylor.
Wrong. All right, let's go down a row. You can steal if you want, Pete.
Dallas Goedert.
Oh, so close. Let's go down a row, second row.
No, that's I was doing the down a row. The red highlighted
okay.
is Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, Dallas Goedert. So Pete gets another point. 2 points for Pete. Davis still doesn't know.
Is it just who goes quickest? Because Evan Ingram is there on the bottom left. Of the
Evan Ingram, bottom left. Okay, Davis, you can steal.
Oh,
Peter,
bottom.
Don't answer this. Don't answer this. Same row as Evan Ingram to the right. Davis, who is that?
I have no idea. Literally couldn't.
Come
even,
on,
I think
man.
it's Jatavian Sanders, but I'm not 100%.
Jatavian Sanders. Come on.
I don't know who it is either.
Mason
He's a staple
Taylor
of
is the
this
bottom.
show. Staple of the show.
Is that
Chig?
Chig? I didn't know Chig had the braid.
No, Chig's actually not there.
Oh, Isaiah.
Is it
Isaiah
Johnny Tremble?
it's
Isaiah
Likely.
Likely.
How is Isaiah
Likely.
Likely a staple of this
And then
show?
bottom right is Mason Taylor, and I assume the ginger is Gunnar Helm.
The ginger is not Gunnar Helm. Gunnar Helm is right beside the tight end. Pete, do you want to try to steal?
For some reason, I feel like this is. There's no way you would have been able to Photoshop this because I'm like, is this like a false thing here? I don't know who that is. It like kind of looks like Andy Dalton when I squint.
It's
Davis should get this because it
looks like
looks
Carson
dead
Wentz.
up
It's,
like Justin Bailey.
It's Jake Ferguson.
So close.
Dalton Schultz.
It's Kyle Rudolph, who is
Whoa,
Justin Bailey.
did he lose some weight?
Yeah,
I feel like he's looking a little skinnier in the face.
Wow.
Jake Ferguson is
Fantastic.
2 spots to the right of Isaiah Likely. So there you
Not
go.
a lot of FaceTime for tight ends on television.
See, and this kind of
I'm
proves my
learning there.
point, Davis. Maybe the reason why you don't care about tight end is that you don't know much about them.
Yeah.
And that's
so
kind of the purpose of this event.
That was brutal. So you're going -3 for that. That was just a waste of absolutely everyone's
No,
time.
it's not
And
a
I'm
waste of
awarded-
time. It
and I'm
proved
awarded-
my point.
David,
I
tough scene for David getting muted already while he drinks his Fairlife. We're moving on. Best app for a group chat. I thought this was very interesting. Peter obviously has very strong preferences about this. He hates being in a group me for a dynasty league. So, and Peter, you're also an Android guy, so you should have very serious thoughts about the best app for a group chat. Go.
So the whole reason that this is a debate is because no one likes having conversations in a million places, right? You don't want to have to be bouncing around all of this stuff. I understand the device, functionality, cross functionality issues. I converted my college friend group to Discord for group chat. And this was the best coup I have ever done. One, because I personally spend a lot of time in Discord already, so I don't need an additional app. Plus, it has all of the functionality you want from other group apps, lots of multimedia stuff. You can fire up a video call. Sometimes my buddies will just be walking and fire up a video call. Whoever wants to drop in can do it. There's no device compatibility issues with Discord. Everyone knows their way around it from being in a bunch of servers. I'm going to say, despite it not being a normal group chat vehicle, Discord is the best.
Dave, I'm letting you know this one is very, very open for the taking. If you got to play your cards right here.
Okay. I just think that there is, people have to suck it up. It's because of people like Pete that we have to have this. If everyone just had an iPhone and iMessage, we could just keep everything contained to where our texts are. But the green text people are kind of ruining this for everybody. As far as what the best is, it's your clientele, whatever they have. If I asked everybody to download Discord and to get used to it, it would take forever.
You're getting laughed out. You're literally, you tell a normie to download something called Discord. You're like, they're
I did.
laughing
I
at
told
you.
all my normie college friends to do it. They did it and they love it.
Yeah.
How
learning curve to
normie?
Discord is no different than WhatsApp or GroupMe or Telegram or any of those. It's all the fucking
Yeah. The answer is really Signal. Signal is something
All right,
that me and my
Dave,
group friends.
Dave gets a point. Dave gets 1 point for making me laugh. Peter, you get 1 point there because I think you're probably right, but I would never in my life. I think the answer is literally just a group chat, and you just have to not be friends with people who have Androids. I mean, that really is
that
the
cannot
answer.
be the solution.
At the end of the day, that is the answer. That is
I
the
rest
answer
my
at the
case
end of
with
the day.
literally the judge says, Peter, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I gave you, so Dave has -2, Peter has 2. Speaking of best ball Twitter being unbelievably annoying, something that I find it kind of crops up every year. Someone will be like, dude, what if a 1 quarterback build is what you need, brother? Should we spend any of our mental energy caring about quote unquote unique best ball builds? You know, the old
What does that
4
even mean?
quarterback. Well, Dave, you're literally, I'm the host. You're answering the question, so I'll turn it over to you. Should
No,
we
but what
care?
is like? Who is spending their energy on unique builds? I guess.
A lot of people, literally a lot of people.
I got added in on X, and it was from someone who said basically the game is beatable, just like SocrDave says, and it was, he said a
People
millionaire
who will never beat the game love saying the game is beatable.
the game is beatable.
Well, the issue is that he said a millionaire, a very prominent DFS player and multimillionaire in the space drafted this team, and it had 4 running backs. And when I tell you that my mentions blew up over the next probably 2 days.
That means there were 2 replies.
I just gave you, David, 2 points for bringing up the greatest line in the history of the show. Please don't make me take them away with the rest of the story.
Okay, I guess I'll just not tell the rest of the story.
No, I
then.
want you to continue, but I need you to be careful.
Okay. So anyways, people were arguing in my mentions because I was tagged in the original post because there were 2 starting running backs and then 2 handcuffs. And so they did not understand the 4 running back build. My thesis has always been live a little. And part of that thesis means not caring about the minutia that is roster construction builds.
This is just a horrible response to the question, though, that Davis asked, which you just refuse to engage in whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like, no, you should not let people, like, you spend 0 energy on other people's unique roster builds.
Here's my take. People overemphasize uniqueness in like a single build. They're like, oh, I did this one thing and like this is so unique and blah, blah, blah. And it's like the way that these pod structure tournaments pan out, you're going to be so lucky to get one single team there. You could draft the same version of every team if you wanted, if that's your thing. And you still probably won't get one team there. Just ask Davis. But I do think there's a point to discussing how ADP funnels the field to similar structures over and over again, in that getting unique across your portfolio.
Dude, my quarterback's in the window just
or
lines up so perfectly.
Or just like, you know, say something like the entire field, like no one's going to take 4 running backs in a row from rounds 4 through 7 or 8. Like that's the dead zone. That's whatever. Like I do think getting into build types that the field doesn't naturally gravitate to, I think that has merit because it can put you on pockets of players and structures. And then you're hoping to get combos of players that the field isn't necessarily having at a high clip.
All right. Peter, will you admit you were wrong, speaking of best ball clocks, about the 20 versus 30-second clock? Will you admit the 20
I wasn't wrong.
The 20-second clocks are full of the biggest stream watching sweats of all time? Admit that David and I were right. The 30-second... Admit it.
No, I'm not. You're not going to give me points regardless. Why would I admit this?
I would admit it. I will offer you 2 points right now if you admit that you didn't get that you didn't understand the question. You did it wrong.
What do you mean didn't understand the question? I completely understand the question. The amount of times I've seen people auto draft Ditch it, I hate your face right now. And that's saying something because my default baseline. The amount of teams I've seen put on auto draft in these 20-second clocks, have bad builds. And also the other thing is it was the default thing. So the whole idea is that like all the scared casuals are like manually clicking the 30-second thing is just completely anecdotal bullshit. You can give me as many negative points as you want. I'll even give you the double bird if you like it and want to mute me. Fuck off.
The thing is that drafting against auto drafters absolutely sucks. You do not want to be drafting against auto drafters. That actively injures your team. It hurts your chances of getting an ADP faller. It hurts your chances of getting a third quarterback, which all the Sims say is the greatest of all time. It is. That's not.
Then how are you defining softer? Because then you're saying you want to be in the sweaty rooms because everyone stays in their lane and you can get your stacks and all of that. So like, what are you actually trying to accomplish in a softer versus harder room?
I mean, I just want to be against as many normies as possible.
Hey, Davis, on the original show that we're copying, does the host usually just argue with the guest? I just want to know,
David, you need to be interjecting.
If that's kind of what the thing is, because I'm just kind of letting it play out. I figure that I'm staying out of it.
All right, Dave, rebut. Give your 20 versus 30-second argument.
You already did it. There's nothing. Let's move on. We were right. Even people in the mentions, in the Twitter mentions, mentioned
there was one guy who came with some he was like, look at this one team I drafted. Can't you tell?
No,
negative one. No points awarded for Peter because he didn't change his mind. -1 for David for being.
David wants to give himself points so bad right now.
Yeah, no, I think David was just being. I think Dave was just being.
Davis, you're giving like big time. Like in elementary school, and the teacher picks someone to like shoot.
All right, best sports city in the world.
She was going to the restroom, and she would be like, "All right, Davis, you're gonna keep names of everybody." You're like, "I'm in charge now." And everyone has to do what I say. That's kind of the energy you're giving right now.
All right. So people have noticed that, the Midwest is kind of going through a renaissance right now in terms of sports. We had the first NBA finals that you could realistically drive to each city in between each game. Indianapolis, Oklahoma City, about 7 hours away via the highway. Got me thinking. Best sports city in the world. I will open this up internationally.
Can I have a quick clarification?
You may.
Does this mean does it include every factor like historical dominance, or is it just like being a fan living in that city? You have like proximity to stadiums. Like, what are the variables?
What about outside temperature? What about like livability?
Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice.
You got to sell me the pen. You got to sell me the pen, right?
Okay.
So open-ended. You sell me the pen. I'll let David go first.
Okay, I would say the best sports city in the world would be Miami, because Miami, you have a beach there, you have no income tax, no state income tax, so you're getting to enjoy more of the games, and then you have all the major sports teams that you
more of the games. What does that mean?
David, I've never seen someone believe in an argument less than the one you're making right now.
What does see more of the games mean because of the income tax?
Yeah, because because you have more money to spend, more disposable income.
This has to be the worst answer you could have possibly.
It's also not a great question. Like, it's not a great topic. I'm trying to come up with something that's a little clever. If I had to say something, it'd be like, oh, New York City.
So when I sent
Chicago is probably the.
Okay, so when I sent you the script at 9 a.m. this morning, you didn't have any time to think about what you were maybe gonna come up with.
Davis, all you did was copy and paste everyone's questions that they put in the chat.
That is not accurate. That's a -3. I mean, that was just truly dreadful.
And
buddy,
honestly,
-10 me. I don't care.
I want to get on the other side of that. I genuinely appreciated all the topics in the Swolies because it also gave me inspiration for the Overzet's overview. So I appreciate.
And who asked for that? Who asked for those topics yesterday?
Just take your negative points and shut up. Is it my turn, Davis?
It is your turn. Let's see if you can somehow do worse.
I hate the answer I'm about to
If
give.
you say Boston, if you say Boston, I'm
no, it's
Chicago.
No, that's
listen,
negative.
No, listen. You have a variety of historic stadiums between the Garden and Fenway. Obviously, there's a new Garden, but Fenway is one of the most historic stadiums in all of sports, much less baseball. You have a history of excellence across all of those franchises there. You have historical significance with both the Red Sox and Celtics. You have a variety too of areas. Fenway is its own area. The stadium down there at North Station, Foxborough there, so you get a wide variety. And
Foxborough is like you have to drive. It's not even in a city. That's why
that's
Chicago.
The whole point.
Chicago is the number one answer. You've got Wrigley. You got Soldier Field.
Soldier Field sucks. It's cold. It's windy out there.
No, Soldier Field is awesome. Soldier Field is awesome to go to.
They don't take care of the grass. I mean,
they do have some turf. They do have some turf problems, but you also have the Chicago Sky, Angel Reese there. Does New England have a WNBA team?
All right,
Peter?
I'm gonna very begrudgingly give Peter a point here. I think his answer is probably correct. I just really don't.
It's not Chicago. Chicago has their own station, WGN, that used to do all the games.
You want to talk about how many cities have their own radio stations?
Bulls.
What do you think?
They have two Major League Baseball teams.
What do you think the number one city is, Davis?
I mean, honestly, I think all things included, I would I think like Los Angeles is really strong. You obviously have the night weather. You have all major sports. In fact, you have 3 hockey teams. You have 2 basketball teams.
Yeah, but the riots.
Well, I considered LA, but here's my thing: the sports in New England, or even I'll concede Chicago, mean so much more to those
the city,
people than the LA stuff does to LA residents. It's so transient, and people just don't like. People in New England live and die by these sports teams in a way that no one in LA does.
Like I said, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's not 3 hockey teams. I just was including Sacramento in Los Angeles for not Sacramento. But there's the Kings, there's the Ducks, and then there's another one.
San Jose Sharks.
I was including the Sharks. Sorry. Yes, Los Angeles. The fans suck. Basically,
yeah,
is the issue. Not to me, JJ, because I don't leave the house, so I would never interact with another fan. So for me, matters much.
Careful
less.
how you address my boss, Davis.
Fair enough.
I think Kitchen's getting nervous because his boss. Because his boss is in the chat, listening and grading and judging all of his answers.
Always in the chat.
point for Kitchen. You know what, JJ? I will let you celebrity award a point for David. I will. We'll get you up to -3, so you're still within the boundaries here. Now, Dave, I'm going to let you take over for a second. You're going to be the host right now because you put something on the rundown that I didn't understand. So I'm going to let you explain this. You said Davis's quest to become a rich fantasy sports influencer. There's no question here, but I
was confused by this one too.
I was confused by this.
It was just anything. This is in the Swoleys chat for those that are listening. I just put a bunch of topics, and that was just to generate other topics around that. I wasn't saying like, hey, you need to have something like this, but one of the bits that we have on this show is you getting a job, a real job, or being your quest to become a rich sports influencer. So that's all it was.
I'd settle for lower upper.
It was just a topic starter,
class,
Davis. It was just something to, like in.
It was something for someone else to do some work with. You're kind of the ideas guy, and then you hand it off. And I see.
Like in the corporate world, you'd have like little Post-it notes, and you would just like little topics, and then you would just ideate off of those topics.
You'd like ideate, and then someone else.
What they call this is they call it chaff. Kitchen just comes in with the chaff and then expects other people to turn it into a fully formed idea.
I really hate that I'm getting flack for this, guys. When yesterday
for
I took,
ideating.
like, my intentions were very much pure. Hey, let's get some topics. Let's get some topic starters.
All right,
And
Dave.
Not everyone's going to be a banger, but
2 points. 2 points for ever thinking about the show before it's happening, before actually just rolling the ball.
How about this,
thank you.
Dave?
2 points for
Can
Dave.
I punch up Dave's prompt? Let's ask me and Dave what annual amount of net income Davis would have to make to be happy and stop being grumpy on all of these shows.
Oh, that is unbelievably good. Sort of it's like, let's go Laden thinks. Here, let me I'm gonna write it down.
You have the number in your head.
Yeah, I might not have a pen down here though.
we will trust you.
We could just trust you, Davis.
if you just
Okay. All right. I've got a number in my head. This is a realistic USD number that I just like straight up. If this was my income, I would not be grumpy.
I think Dave and I should, because I don't want to like Price is Right you, Dave. So I think we should each have our answers thought of ahead of time. I have the number in my head that I think Davis has in his head.
Okay. Let me write it down.
Here, I don't look at the Swole's chat. I'm gonna put it.
I'm not
in the
gonna
Swole's
look.
Chat. I'll put
I'm
it.
writing
in the
it
Swole's chat
down
right now.
Right now on my whiteboard.
All right, it's in the Swole's chat. So you guys can both do your guesses. No Price is Right. 3.
two,
No, I did.
2.
You want me to just say mine because you wrote it down and I'm not?
Yeah, you can say it.
I think the number is $150,000 a year. 175.
The answer in the Swole's chat. $150,000 per minimum. Pete nails it on the nose. Now,
Really?
as joking notes, of course I would still be on.
You would
That is-
still be-
that is
that would
the
make you
number.
giddy. Is 150K?
The question was more, what would make me not miserable?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
spirit. Well, because there's actual studies on this. I think it was in the Sahil Bloom book where there's a natural thing that people always crave 30% more.
Yep.
On average of what they already have. And he pulled like some of his friends who, didn't make that much money. Some of his friends who were millionaires. And he was like, he would pull the guy who makes $1 million a year and he'd be like, yeah, if I just made about, 1.75 million a year, or 2 million, like then I'd be good. And he averaged it out and it did kind of, come on this
So
golden
you took like
number.
120 times 1.3 to get to your around.
I didn't do
150
that
range.
math, but I was more to Davis's point that no matter how much you have, you're always going to want a little more.
Oh, gotcha.
Correct.
I would think it would be 175 because I know what you used to make, Davis, doing nothing. And now you're
sure do.
grinding.
You sure
So that
do.
I originally was going to put 150 and then I put, no, that's not enough. He would need extra to be like not miserable.
All right, Dave, I'm actually, you thought about it. I'm gonna get you up. You got 2 points there.
How many
You
did
got
I
2
get?
points. You got 1.
I got one
No,
for
you
the
got-
exact correct answer.
Don't
and
give him
David
another
gets
point.
one.
Do not
I
give him another point. You've already said it. You
Yes,
can't
I
put
like
it back.
David's.
about.
I like David's logic. I like you.
Yeah,
You were too,
even
you were
though
too,
I got it right on the nose.
You were too scientific, and David also made a great joke about me getting paid too much in my old job where I didn't do anything. So, 2 points, and I also felt bad about David having negative numbers. I'm trying to keep David motivated and engaged. Like, you know how you kind of have to let.
We all know
comment-
this is a sham, Davis. You had to start me in the hole because it's like a golf handicap.
It's
So-
like a golf. It's a golf handicap. All right, we have got a big.
Welcome
thing.
to the show, Pete Ludolf said. After he guessed the exact amount he got less.
I was just like, you want to talk about a sham. I'm sorry for being perfect with my guess.
All right, 2 of us are from the Midwest-ish. I guess Dave thinks he's probably from the South, even though Tennessee is like equilateral with Missouri. Peter is from the Northeast and also grew up in
I am not
Colorado.
from- yeah, okay. I thought you were saying I was from the Northeast.
He lives
There was a-
there. He's
there was a
from
big-
Colorado.
There was a big viral tweet yesterday talking about the difference between 95 degrees and humid, and 20 degrees with the wind chill, like which would you prefer outside? Extreme heat versus extreme cold, right? We had a very, very snowy winter in the United States. What's better? What would you prefer where you live, where you're traveling, whatever? Extreme heat versus extreme cold. David, I'll let you. Actually, Peter. I just robbed Peter, so Peter gets to go first.
Extreme heat for me. It's not even close. I'll even take on like extreme humidity heat, even though like a lot of people, I prefer that, like Vegas, Colorado dry heat as opposed to the East Coast humidity heat. I was out on a walk this morning. It's 96 degrees right here. That sweat, it feels good. Also, you can get up early in the morning and kind of get the best of both worlds, like a little cooler. Whereas when it is ice cold, there's no way to change that. It is cold in the dead of night. It is cold in the middle of the day. And it just limits so much of what you can do. Having a toddler, we can get out in the sun. We can find some shade. We can stay cool or whatever, get her feet in the kiddie pool, whatever. When it's cold, we just got to be inside. There's no other way around it. And then you get cabin fever. I don't even think it's close. Give me the heat.
David?
Can you just award Pete the points? Like literally, I can't say it any much better than
3
that.
points. 3 points for making me laugh.
I can't say it any better than that, but
the past 2 times I have lost despite having the correct answer
I
in my
think I figured out
to give me the points.
I think I've figured out how to fantasy pros this show. But I the only thing I'll add to that is that like even with the humidity, there's something to be said for like stuff growing, stuff like wanting to grow. Like everything being green still here in the South.
By the way, everyone in the chat, I mean, almost everyone had the wrong answer. You guys are truly insane if you want it to be cold.
They're saying cold?
They're saying cold.
That's
they're saying
they're probably that's probably where they're from though, right? Like they're like I could not live up north. Literally could not live up north.
You can't go outside
winters.
when it's 20 degrees.
Maybe that's why the chat. These guys don't ever leave their house. They're just in their house playing, drafting baseball teams. They don't fucking care what the weather is.
Like I just golfed in 101 degree heat on Saturday and Sunday, and guess what? It was awesome. Just slamming. I had my gallon of water. I was enjoying it. I got a good tan. Beautiful. Can't golf when it's 20 degrees.
Literally prompted me to do. I have an invoice in my email inbox from my AC guy from like a couple of weeks, and I'm late on paying him because our AC had gone out and he had to come. And so I just remembered I need to write him a check right now. So this segment is saving me from pissing off my AC guy.
Point for Peter's AC guy. I'm going to transit a property that to Peter. David 3, Peter 6. Everyone in the this was a really good one. This is really good from Tyler. So this is like the showdown segment. So the winner of this one gets 7 points. So I want you guys to think very deeply about your answer. This is the old format of the show, is there would be a big showdown. And this is it. 2 normies. People don't go to the gym. They can't bench 225. Maybe they get on the treadmill every once in a while. What is the most impressive area of the physique for a normie? Big chest, big biceps, huge calves, giant butt, whatever you want. You can take it wherever you want. That was Tyler, not me. Most impressive area of physique to a normie. David, you can go first.
No, I want Pete to go first.
No, I've been going first the whole time.
No, I went first 2 times ago. I did.
I get sick of winning the argument right off the rip. I want to know what it feels like to come in and win after. You want me to go?
I like Pete saying the right thing and then me saying the wrong thing and getting points for it. That seems like the optimal answer.
So I have the true answer for this and then maybe a more practical answer, but let me give the true answer. It's a 6-pack. It is the most like kind of wish fulfillment type thing that a normie wants. And it encompasses so many things. Yes, there's some elements of genetics to it. Yes, you have to put in some ab work, but then there's the diet element. It like encompasses all of the things of health and fitness. It's like the holy grail of showing that you have your shit together. You can fake a lot of other shit. You can have big biceps, which would probably be my second answer, just because that's the thing that always stands out to a normie. You can always see it in a shirt. That's my knock on abs, is a lot of times You're not seeing that unless you're at the beach. Even at the gym, you're not going to see that and be impressed by it.
All right, Peter definitely does not have this one locked up, Dave. It is open for a steal.
Davis is going to project onto this one.
I certainly am not. I certainly am not.
I will just say, people that know me know the answer. They know the truth here, and that is big old barrel chest, baby.
I knew you were going here.
So I'm not giving you the points for that because it was just way too obvious. As the chat was already loading up on that. Peter, normies do not think about all the work that goes into six pack. They think
you just said what normies would be impressed by.
Hold on. They showed a picture of like a jacked guy next to a guy that was not as sculpted but had like a big chest. I can't take you serious when you're licking that thing.
I'm forgetting my check to mail my.
I figured, but they preferred the less sculpted physique to the like 6-pack abs physique. You are projecting power with a barrel chest. Abs,
but is that because
like, you're not eating as much? Like.
How about this? If you asked a normie and you said, of all the things that Davis was running down or that are options, and you said you could snap your fingers and have one of these things, what would you? I guarantee abs would lead that charge. Guaranteed.
That's a different question.
Is it?
We're not talking about
an illustrator.
If Davis said, "What is the hardest to achieve?" Pete, you'd get some points. He said, "What's the most impressive area of physique?" That is the chest.
The most impressive is the hardest thing to achieve.
When you are wearing clothes out in public and you have those true classics that just drape over that chest, creating
David wearing a t-shirt he got off Instagram is just so obvious.
This is an awful thing. When we initially talked about barrel chest, the whole point that we said it wasn't something worth achieving is that it can be disguised by someone who's out of shape. Like it's not even
out of shape is subjective.
Okay.
But like no one's going up and being like, if you got a big old barrel chest, you just like walk in a room and people see this guy's got a big old barrel chest.
All right, guys, I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to vote in this poll. Right now, Peter is winning 71% to 29%. My instinct is to not give it to either one of you because I think the answer is clearly biceps. Like, I think that is the normie killer.
If you got a big old chest, though, you're going to have bigger biceps.
Inaccurate. And in fact, if your chest gets big, it makes your biceps look smaller.
No.
All right.
If you got
you have a bigger chest than me, let's both put our guns out here. Roll up your sleeves and let's do our flex our biceps and see.
All right, I'm gonna award the points that the chat has doled out. 51 votes. Peter is the winner, so I am gonna give Peter the points, but I'm very much gonna give Dave a chance for a steal here because we are gonna do rapid fire. I'm actually gonna steal a bit from Hayden or Josh. We're gonna go at ADP, and actually I'm gonna give Kitchen a point for making me laugh with the bicep push there. That was very funny.
Are we gonna be like Hayden and Josh and get on all socials now?
We're not gonna do that. God knows we are never ever
what do you mean all
Instagram account?
Oh, they're on Instagram.
Post yesterday. They're on Instagram.
Wait,
they're on TikTok.
Okay, this does lead me to, I now remember why I prompted yesterday about the Davis, because I got a follow on Instagram from Davis Maddock.
Yeah, I created a fantasy Instagram account.
You did?
Yeah.
And it's Maddock Drafts.
Yeah, it's just...
So that's why, yeah.
It's just going to be the most mind-bendingly numb normie bait trying to get first-time deposits on underdogfantasy.com. All right. So we're gonna do this or that, right? It's literally just gonna be guys who are right next to each other at ADP. I'm going to award 1 point to the winner of each one. You guys, this is not long. This is not involved. 30 seconds maximum. Rashee Rice, T. Higgins, Dave, go.
Give me Rashee Rice. Give me a team's wide receiver 1 over a wide receiver 2.
Pete?
Do I have to go oppo him if I want points?
No, you can make a better argument if
you can
want.
tell me like you usually do.
That's
You little
well,
beta.
yeah, no, it's Rashee Rice. Like we're paying the premium on T. Higgins, while all the other wide receiver 2s we used to draft in the same range go in the 5th round now.
All right, bang. I'm actually just not awarding a point there. That one was too easy. Devontae Adams or Jackson Smith and Jigba. Peter, go.
Devontae Adams, it pains me to say it, just way too long of a track record, gets a situation upgrade. He is going to ball out without the systemic team risk that JSN has.
David?
Yeah, Devontae Adams has that. If you look at these McVay teams, what they've done in the past situations, like
Dave, if you pull this stat that I'm thinking you might pull, I'm going to give you the point.
Well, he's got like these targets for receivers in the McVay system. Insane. So I'm not going to give away all the alpha. You got to get that on July 1st.
All right, that one is point, Peter. Okay. Chuba Hubbard and Joe Mixon, RB16, RB17. Dave.
How about C? None of the above.
You can't even play by the rules.
Peter, rebuttal.
Yeah, give me Chuba Hubbard right now.
Seriously?
Slightly. Yeah, I think the breakdown risk for Chubb, them signing Chubb, is magnified. He was really bad down the stretch here. You get the younger player in Hubbard on a better, not a better, but on an ascending offense. I think you lean Hubbard there.
I mean,
David,
you got to be in the exact same situation. Why was Hubbard valuable last year? They were playing from behind, lots of targets there. The offensive environment's not going to be nearly
Hubbard
the same.
isn't a huge pass catcher. The targets were not.
You're darn right. So why would you want him in that offense?
You just said his production was driven by negative game scripts. Where
you got Rico Dowdle now there also. Like what helped him last year? Injuries and being down and like garbage time. That's what helped him out.
All right, Dave, you're close. Let's see if you really nail this one. I'll even give you 2 to bring it down to a sudden death. Right next to each other, wide receiver 41, wide receiver 42, wide receiver 43, basically the same ADP. Matthew Golden and Jaden Reed. Peter has a strong reaction to this, Dave. It is open for you. Jaden Reed, Matthew.
All right,
Golden.
I want to hear Peter's. Hear Peter's.
It's Davis tossed it to you first, and this is what I'm going to do. Whatever player you say, I'm taking the oppo.
Okay, give me Matthew Golden, just because I think he has an extremely high ceiling. Are we talking about best ball also?
Either or.
Okay,
be your normie league.
Okay, especially in best ball where we know he is extremely fast and he could be the spike week guy that you need with multiple touchdowns.
Wow, Dave said spike.
Jaden Reed he's a jag. He's just another guy in that system. He's got to fight.
Calling Jaden Reed a jag. All right, Peter, go.
Yeah, Jaden Reed is a really good football player. He's a dog. His splits when Jordan Love was healthy and they were actually throwing the ball are actually incredibly good. He was a victim of the neutered offense that just relied on Josh Jacobs down the stretch when they didn't pass. He is going to be the wide receiver 1 for them. Matthew Golden has a limited downfield skill set. If someone explodes in this offense, it's Jaden Reed.
You think that they drafted him?
Here's the thing.
With the intent of saying, "Oh, this guy has a limited offensive skill set."
David's answer is right, but Peter had the better logic. What do I do? What do I do there?
Well, considering I was willing to argue either side there, you got to.
I think the issue is that Pete
points for David because Matthew Golden is the only player I've drafted more than 8.3% of. I'm gonna really test you guys in this last one. This is sudden death. This is gonna declare the winner. The running back 27 and the running back 28, 80.6 and 82.9. Tony Pollard versus Isaiah Pacheco.
Ooh.
Peter?
I will once again oppo whatever side Dave wants to take.
No, I get to go second now. Peter went second last time. I will oppo whatever side Peter takes.
Tony Pollard is clearly the better of these two options. He is not coming off of an insane injury. He doesn't face a ton of risk in new additions to the offense. The team just drafted Rashard Smith. They signed Eli Mitchell, Kareem Hunt's there. There are attack vectors everywhere for Isaiah Pacheco. They've already shown that they can win without making him the focal point of the offense. I think with a rookie quarterback, Tennessee is going to rely on Tony Pollard to be the engine, and he has bounced back ever since that awful year with the Cowboys. Tony Pollard easily.
David?
You know, I don't actually fault Peter for saying this because Tony Pollard is a great running back, and also he's coming at from a different
Great
angle.
member of the community.
I'm coming at it from more of an analysis side. Offensive environment matters, Davis. If you look at teams in the past that running backs were drafted in those middle rounds and they had scored less than 2 touchdowns per game, you would see that not one of them exceeded their ADP by 6 or more PPR points per game.
Dave really wants to win. He pulled up the
less
draft
than
guide.
2 touchdowns per game. Every running back scores less than 2 touchdowns per game.
No, I'm saying the team.
Oh, the team. Okay.
The team. Yeah. So I'm just saying that though that's kind of if you're looking for, give me the environment of the Chiefs where we know they're going to score a lot of touchdowns. I hope Tennessee scores a lot of touchdowns. You
just made an argument for all of the other running backs on the Chiefs who play in that same environment.
All right, here's the deal.
Coach Speak also saying Tajay Spears is going to get more of the workload this year. I mean, I don't want to burn down. I don't want to burn down Pete's argument that bad, but
so the issue is, I think both your answers were good, but Peter said attack vector. So he's going to lose. He actually loses 3 points for saying different attack vectors.
What?
David is the winner. David is the winner.
Shit. Oh my God. Do the recount. The ballot boxes have been rigged. Holy shit.
Peter, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad TV if you win every week. And I think we all know Dave is not capable. So here you go. David, here's your FaceTime. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for everyone for believing in me. Really appreciate that. I'm here, though, for the people. I represent the people. And really, my story represents what I want everyone else's story to be. And that is you come up as a normie, but then you get in this environment. We talk about offensive rich environments. I'm in this environment where I've got analysis. I'm like just surrounded. So this isn't about me. This award's not about me. Without JJ, this award would have never happened. So
without JJ, you'd have nothing to pair it when we have fantasy.
Yeah, really appreciate JJ. And just a reminder that draft guide's dropping July 1st.
I mean, Kitchen getting the win. This was like a disaster performance by Kitchen today. Just an all.
It really wasn't. It really wasn't, Pete. You have to know how to play the game.
Clay's about to storm Broadway Street.
See, this is Kitchen. You aren't going to complain.
David, you shouldn't have won just for the Miami answer.
I changed it to Chicago. I changed it to Chicago. One bad play doesn't define you, bro.
No, Kitchen, you won't agree with me because it resulted in you winning. But if you were removed from the proceedings, you would think that Davis injected himself too much and made himself too much of the scoring and wasn't an impartial judge throughout.
Okay.
I don't really remember, but did Reali pretend to be impartial? I don't think so, right?
Yes, he did. They also had fact checking at the end.
They did have fact checking. Well, you would not have enjoyed the fact checking for
Davis
for Miami.
That's a bad
Bro said Miami, they have no state taxes.
So you could enjoy the games more.
Listen, when we play or when we watch like Wheel of Fortune at the house, I'm so quick at those answers, but I know that in that moment it's different when you're put on the spot.
All right, for next week, I'm gonna add. I think a good one will be some real, like, no subjectivity. I think we should get a couple best ball trivia ones. So I have some ideas for that. I think that's good. For the quick fire round will be like, who was the running back 14 in 2016? Something, not exactly, but something like that.
That sounds
More black
bad.
and white.
That sounds bad. No one cares who the running back 14 was in 2016. We gotta find a more entertaining way for that.
That was just that, David. It was much like someone who just said Miami was the best.
Yes,
sports team.
that was your Miami answer.
That was my Miami answer. That was my very first answer.
Listen, if you've ever been to Miami, you know it's an awesome city, and it's got sports there too.
And it has sports there too.
And no income
Totally.
tax.
All right, Dave. I'm transferring it back to you now.
Okay. Shout out to everyone that was following along for the show, and it's like I watched the College World Series on Sunday, and in the first inning, the coach came out to argue, and immediately was tossed by the ump, and the ump kind of made himself the star of the show. Davis, I don't want to see that be the Swolecast. That's all I'll say. You did interject yourself a little too much on this show. Power went to your head at first. You kind of got it back at the end. You let people decide. But then he says the movers don't tell Tuttle about the format change and just make him adapt to it live.
Or actually mute his mic for the entire show.
Tuttle's answers would just be like, his answer would just be a shrug for almost every question.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Who
sure.
cares?
Whatever. Tuttle will be back with us starting the NFL season. And we appreciate you all. Things that you've got going on this week, Davis.
Streaming every day. Videos every day. One of Davis's questions started with Pete. Admit you are wrong.
yeah. You remember Tony Reale saying, "Hey Woody, you're wrong."
You're wrong.
I mean, you want to talk about a fucking dictator host?
I promise you, we're still working the kinks out. I promise you, you don't. You guys,
that's
do
a
not
personality kink, David.
You guys do not want a show that is David lobbing softballs to Peter with Peter winning every week. It'd be funny. It's funny sometimes. It's not going to be funny for the next 80 or 78 days until the season starts.
Was one of the things that went through your mind when you ordered that win is that Kitchen's hosting next week. Maybe he'll award me the win.
No, I just sensed the chat wanted you to win. I sensed the chat was just kind of drifting in your favor. So like a populist dictator. I just went with the whims of the
You're
people.
like a ref when the home crowd gets into it, you also get into it. All right.
Yes,
like
yeah.
Dave,
I'm Tony Brothers.
Dave in this game is like when the kid who has like a slight developmental disability gets to come in and shoot one shot at the end of the game, and like everyone's cheering for him like way more than they ever cheered for the star players because it's such like a tender moment.
I cannot believe you just said that.
Man, sad for Levi that this is going to be the last comment that he ever put in the chat. And not a good.
What did someone get banned for?
Yeah. I want to know who got banned.
They said something snarky about me.
Oh my God. You cannot ban snark.
I just put him in timeout. I didn't ban him. I just put him in timeout.
Jeremy said hand him the football and clear out.
Every single pity point, they bring out the big trophy for him.
David Kitchen's Derrick Henry moment where the guys are just carrying him into the end zone.
Oh, all right, Pete, what do you have going on this week?
Just getting in the lab and thinking how I can prepare and be better, so I can win next time. I don't take to losing kindly, so I just
you do kind of see your competitive side. Like whenever you like in the normal format, you're just Sassy Pete or Cool Guy Pete. In this format, you're like, oh, come on, that foul was on me. You know, like, I didn't even touch him.
Well, it feels a lot like, you know, if like the LeBron era Miami Heat, you know, got beat by the Globetrotters in the NBA Finals. That's kind of how I feel losing to
Miami.
you.
How do we think?
Right
How do we think this would play? Inviting Liam on as the third.
Yes.
I think
I'm down for inviting for guests. Oh, we have
Liam,
Jack
essentially.
Settleman. We should
Jack would be
like
good.
Jack would have been. He was one of the topics I was hoping that would come up. We should have talked. He was topically relevant this week. Whenever he said, "Thanks, Tom." Whenever Tom Brady, like said, "No, thank you," or something, whatever. The Fanatics Fest. Did you see this?
I saw he got like $5,000. Like Tom Brady gave all the contestants $5,000 or something.
Right. And then like Jack shouted out Tom Brady, like, oh, thank you, you know, so much, whatever. And Tom Brady replied with like, no, thank you. It's for the fans that made this possible. And Jack just quote tweeted with, thanks, Tom. like they were best friends. But yeah, that should have been, and it also should have been in the Pete's Overzet's overview. So
Okay.
yeah,
Write your own overview if you want to get those jokes in,
well,
Dave.
no, I'm trying to help you out. But if you don't want to grow,
Now we're all trying to make your chaff work and fit it into the show the best way we see
Chaff.
fit.
all right. Shout out to everyone that is a Swole member. We'll have a stream this Friday again. Last Friday was fun. We'll do it again this Friday.
Did you ever
And
make the thumbnail for that one, Dave? Or
I'm just gonna make like a permanent Friday thumbnail. Davis, I'm working my tush off right now, pal.
yeah.
I'm working my absolute tush off. So
Because you think a nice ass is more impressive to a normie.
I already have a nice rear end.
A dunk.
Yes. Bubbles is what they used to call me in college for a bubble butt. I had 2 ladies in the span of like 6 months touch my butt in public that I did not know. That's how
That's
much
all I know about this.
Barrel assed.
What do you think attracted Holly?
All right, I
She
gotta
was
go
lady
eat lunch
number 2.
before off and on the clock. Let's wrap
All
this up.
right. So shout out from the big 3 to you. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week here on the Swolecast. Peace.
Are you David Static from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand content.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me. I don't do a ton of research before the show.
I've put no research into this. Don't know if it's true at all.
You're on the right show.
Anecdotal tape.